All right, and we are back. And today we're back with another video by Kurzgesagt. Now, obviously, you guys know I actually love the Kurzgesagt channel. This is actually a really good channel. Very educational, very like it gets my mind in that like real scientific place. So I really like that. And this time it's going to be an interesting one because this video is called "You're a Dream of the Universe," according to science. Now, guys, if this is a dream, somebody wake me up when September ends. Yeah, you get that, right? If you guys haven't heard of them, which I'm sure you have, make sure you go to like, comment, and subscribe to the Kurzgesagt channel. And if you're just coming to me from them and you never heard of me, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on my channel. First you like the video, then you subscribe, then you comment, or you can comment and subscribe. You know what? I'm not a picky person. So guys, let's get into this video. But before we do, here's the serious part. Really serious time. Come here. If you guys don't like, comment, and subscribe to these videos, YouTube will come through that door, and they will. Kurzgesagt, you're a dream of the universe, according to science.
Absolutely everything you think about yourself and the universe could be an illusion. As far as you know, you are real and exist in a universe that was born 14 billion years ago and that gave rise to galaxies, stars, the Earth, and finally you. Except, maybe not. You may actually not exist for real, but be the dream of a dead universe. You and everything you think exists. Crazy as it sounds, this may be an unavoidable consequence of our best scientific theories about the universe. Okay, this is a bit much. Let's start at the beginning. We need to understand three concepts for this idea to make sense. 1. The arrow of time. What distinguishes the past from the future? Put a drop of red ink into a glass of water, and you see the ink spread until it fills the container, but never the opposite. Colored water where ink spontaneously concentrates and becomes a drop at the surface again. Time always seems to flow in the direction in which the ink spreads. But if you take a microscope, all you will see will be a swarm of molecules colliding at random. There are no rules, no forwards and backwards. Every individual motion that happens can occur in reverse. But we perceive a sort of arrow of time that makes things happen in one direction. How does this phenomenon occur? Well, this arrow of time is not actually fundamental, but a matter of probability. When ink molecules spread to fill a glass, there are many different slots of space they can occupy, and therefore many different possible.
Guys, this video is already crazy. Okay, here's my initial thoughts on this before we get started anywhere else. I understand where he's going with the flow of time here, and that's part of our human perception. But my question is, if the universe is not real, let's just say, let's go on this theory. The universe is actually a dream. We're all living in it. Isn't that the same as us being alive for real? Like obviously it wouldn't be like us being alive, but like the fact that we still get to live our daily lives and do everything that we do in life, what would be the difference between the reality and the realness if we can only experience the real, like what we experience in life? Like if you aren't able to actually ever able to escape whatever is the dream or the because this right here is just another version of saying that we live in a simulation. Like this is simulation theory, but like probably like the original version of simulation theory. Because I'm sure the simulation theory didn't really get started until like the 80s or 90s or something like that. Probably around the time the Matrix came out in the 2000, like 99. But with that being said, like what would really be the difference if you yourself could never experience the other side? You know, does life change for you in any way, knowing that this is the boundary of it and that maybe there is more out there, but you'll never experience it? Is there really a difference between that and just continuously already living in the current universe and perception that you currently had in your mind? Nothing, just nothing changes.
Possibilities to combine them. And just like your chances of winning the lottery grow the more tickets you have, the probability that ink molecules will end up filling the glass is much higher than the probability that they'll concentrate in just one spot. So it's not that the ink forming a drop again is forbidden by the laws of physics, it's just extremely unlikely. To see it, you'd have to wait about 10 to the power of 100 sextillion years, a 1 followed by 100 sextillion zeros. If you had this much time to spare, eventually, by pure random chance, you'd see a red blob form again. Actually, with enough time, you could see any shape forming, like, for example, a small, red, soggy brain. Okay, let's move on to idea 2. 2. The far future of the universe. Our universe was born 14 billion years ago in the Big Bang. It expanded and evolved to give rise to the myriads of galaxies and things. In other words, the universe is kind of a glass of water with a lot of ink doing stuff. It has an arrow of time. But the universe is not a static glass, it seems to be getting bigger at an ever-increasing speed because of dark energy. Basically, everything in it is getting more and more diluted. In about 100 trillion years, the last star will die. Then, few interesting things will happen for the next few decillions, vantillions, and googles of years. Eventually, the universe will be a dark place fully dominated by dark energy, a rapidly expanding ball of pure space almost devoid of matter. You might think that this would lead to the ultimate death of everything, but dark energy has one last surprise for you. In a universe dominated by dark energy, space expands so dramatically that it creates a cosmic horizon around you, a border beyond which nothing will ever be able to reach you, not even light. So for every practical purpose, the universe has become a glass of finite size about 36 billion light-years wide, surrounded by an impassable cosmic horizon. Such a universe glass is basically a giant black hole turned inside out. We know that due to quantum effects, all black holes emit a tiny amount of particles, a phenomenon known as Hawking radiation. And so does our inside-out black hole. In the end, this radiation will fill the universe glass with particles again. At this point, so far in the future that giving you a number has no more meaning, we've reached the true final state. The universe has now become a closed box full of particles at an extremely low but finite temperature. And since they have a temperature, they undergo random motions. Or in other words, a glass filled with water and ink and an infinite amount of time ahead. Things are about to become interesting again.
So what he's saying is after the universe itself, if you think of the universe itself as a giant black hole and how black holes slowly but surely let loose a little bit of information, then our universe outside of the horizon of nothingness that we outside of a certain point of the universe, obviously it's impossible to get there. No matter how fast you're going, no matter what you're doing, it would never happen. But if you did make it out there somehow through, let's say, some just random magic ability, you made it out there. Eventually, what they're saying is just like how the black holes let loose that information and eventually they explode with all that stuff just being released. That's pretty much happening slowly to the universe. Which, here's my theory that you guys may or may not have heard before about the black hole and the Big Bang of the universe. So, obviously, as you know, what's going to happen is eventually all the light's going to die out in the universe one day. Nothing is going to be left except black holes. Black holes are eventually going to get bigger until they get all the natural matter, like any matter in the universe. It will all be sucked up into one of many black holes one day. Those black holes will eventually collide with each other, absorbing each other, getting bigger. One of them will get bigger, and the other one will not be in existence anymore. All that information still goes into the singularity. All that material, everything there still goes into whatever singularity wins. Eventually, there's going to be one huge, mega, universal black hole that's going to absorb every other black hole around it, everything. They're all eventually going to collide. They're all going to become one. When that one explodes, that's going to be the Big Bang. And chances are it's already happened. We're probably living in Big Bang number 15. Who knows? You don't know. We don't know. I don't know. But, that's just my theory on it.
3. Typing monkeys and fake universes. Eternity is a long, long time. So now, even the most extremely unlikely things can happen. The fluctuating particles are bumping into each other over and over and over again, creating every combination of particles that's possible. They're like a monkey typing at random on a typewriter. Almost all of the time it types gibberish. But with enough time, eventually it will write the first acts of Hamlet. And with even more time, the complete works of Eminem. If ink in our universe glass generates any random arrangements of particles, what could they be? Well, a spontaneous fluctuation could give rise to a planet, or to a galaxy, or even to a lot of them. So maybe our universe has already ended, and all we see around us is a pop-up universe. Not a universe that evolved from a Big Bang, but one that fluctuated into existence by pure chance. And that, like the drop of ink, will only exist for a while before dissolving again. Being random, pop-up universes could be similar to ours, but with funny glitches. In some of these universes, dinosaurs are riding snails. In another, stars are made of blueberries. In another, you're wearing a funny hat.
I mean, first of all, some of you guys are already wearing funny hats. Second of all, the moon is made out of cheese. That's why they won't let you up there, guys. The government will never let you up there because they know people are going to eat it. Except for me, because I don't eat cheese. Neither does my girlfriend, and that's why she's incredible. So, guys, just remember, it is all real. Anything you've heard on the internet from any random person is real, you know? And even though you may have seen a quote from, like, you know, maybe like a former president saying that, like, the things you see on the internet aren't real, I know another president, George Washington, who said, believe everything you see on the internet because I would not lie to you. He also cut down some cherry trees.
Scientists in such universes wouldn't understand those glitches, so maybe the greatest mysteries of physics are just nonsense bugs of our pop-up universe. But not all possible fluctuations of our dead universe have the same probability of occurring. Smaller fluctuations are much more probable than bigger ones. A planet is more likely than a galaxy. But you know what's even way more likely? A human brain. Are you actually just a brain? You think, therefore you exist. But what else do you truly know? In the end, your brain is just interpreting signals from your senses and creating a world that you experience. So technically, you could be just your brain that thinks the world is real. And if we follow the logic of the...
Guys, I gotta tell you something.
So technically, you could be just your brain that thinks the world is...
This image would be a good thumbnail. Like, if I just cut it here and then, like, do, like, some type of pose, like, right here, like, hey, hey, hey. Like, if I do something like that, I do feel like this would be a really good thumbnail. I just thought of that, and I want you guys to know.
Is real. And if we follow the logic of the ink in the universe glass, in particular, you could be a disembodied brain that, just by chance, emerged in a dead universe with your complete set of knowledge and memories. This is a pretty bizarre idea, but if we do the maths, it's kind of pretty solid. Let's compare the number of brains inside bodies in a living universe with the number of naked brains in a dead universe. Let's go really big and imagine that a total of 100 quadrillion humans will live around Earth, and that the same amount of people will live around every star in the universe. If we add this together, we get about 10 to the power of 41 brains inside bodies that will exist. However, in a dead universe that has had enough time to explore all possible fluctuations and that will exist forever, the number of naked brains that would emerge is, well, infinite. So the probability that you're a floating brain is not only vastly larger than the probability that you're a real human, it's so inconceivably larger that we can't even meaningfully quantify the difference. How do you compare a number to infinity? So, are you a
Okay, but here, how about this logic? Let's say, with that same logic, because I've heard this, again, this whole thing is just like a slightly fancier version of the simulation theory. The universe is already very old. The chances of another civilization creating a simulation of a universe is very likely, considering we have created video games. You know, we have created things like The Sims, which are just simulations of life. So if we've done that, why wouldn't another creature or another being at a higher scale do that as well? Now, if you can take that into account, and what's the likelihood of another highly advanced civilization creating something like a random life simulator out of boredom or for a specific scientific purpose, like you'll understand that like we're more likely to live in a simulation than we are in the real world as well. Like this is the same theory. The real question is, what's more likely, that we are a floating brain out in the universe that's already dead, or that we live in a simulation? Compare those two. That's like comparing infinity to infinity right there. That's like comparing infinity plus one to infinity plus two. And I know that's possible. So, that's my argument for that.
Floating brain.
And obviously, guys, those, the chances of those both happening, obviously they say they're high, but again, that doesn't affect your life. You still got to pay your bills, guys. You still got rent to pay. You still got that phone bill. You still got that light, power, gas, freaking, that goes for home gas and for your car, guys. You still got to get gas before you go to work, Make sure you probably had to stop to the gas station before you got home today. Some of you may be at the gas station right now. You still got to do that. The world being a simulation isn't going to put gas in your tank, guys. It's not going to get your phone bill paid. It's not going to get your rent paid. Regardless, you got to go to work. So like, what is the difference? Put me in the simulation where I could just relax all day. Where's my robot, guys? That's why I can't believe the simulation thing until I become rich. Once I become rich, I will start entertaining the idea of the world being a simulation. On days where I get to be like, you know what? I feel like taking a week off right now, and I will. Once those days happen, I will start entertaining the idea of us living in a simulation.
That exists for one moment in time, then basically forever passes, and then you exist for another moment in time. Maybe not even in that order. Maybe your life happens backwards, and you just don't notice. Maybe you've lived trillions of times already. Are you the dream of a dead universe? Really? Really? Well, probably not. First of all, there are a few.
First of all, we're living in a turtle's dream. We are the dreams of a turtle that has the world or universe on its back. That's obviously the real scenario there. That's why they will never let you go into space. I'm sorry, guys. They won't. If you try to go into space right now, I bet you somebody will stop you. It's because they don't want you to see. They don't want you to like get outside of the dream turtle. You can't escape it. We're living in a turtle's dream.
Few loopholes. For example, dark energy could behave completely differently from what we think today and lead us to another future. Or maybe our dead universe will be too motionless to allow the creation of brains, even with infinite time. Or maybe the universe will end up dying in another way. Our understanding of the cosmos doesn't have a solid enough foundation for anyone to worry if they're real or not. Loopholes aside, if you were a fluctuating brain, all the laws of physics stored in your brain would have originated at random and shouldn't bear any relation to the real world. But we just used those laws to prove that you're a floating brain. So even if you believe that you are a floating brain, you'd have to admit that you have no good reason to believe that you are actually a floating brain. Okay, so
you would instantly contradict yourself, because you would start using laws of physics that you yourself created to prove that you are something that the laws of physics couldn't prove, because you are completely randomly making up those laws. Also, that means everyone's understanding of it is different. And also, it would probably mean that I'm the only real person in the universe, because I'm currently talking, and if you guys are watching me, then you're probably a simulation. I'm real though. Sorry to tell you this. You're part of my dream, bro.
This hallucinatory trip might teach us something about our theories about the universe. But in the end, it's just a really weird exercise in what you can do with physics. An exercise of what brains and bodies are able to think about. So don't worry, you're not a dream of the dead universe. Probably. At Kurzgesagt, we love discussing topics like Boltzmann brains because we're convinced that taking science and philosophy seriously is really important for having a positive impact on the world. We're lucky because this is our job, doing something impactful we also enjoy. If you're also aiming to make a positive difference, where should you start? Well, we've noticed a lot of advice about having a positive impact isn't based on the best available evidence. Today's sponsor, 80,000 Hours, aims to offer some that is.
Hey, that's what's up, guys. 80,000 hours. They're going to help you guys. They're going to give you guides on like why you should be learning this type of information. The reason I'm doing this, guys, as some of you already know, is how I feel about sponsors. I love that people have sponsors. I really enjoy it. Any person I watch who has a sponsor, I support them. But, the sponsor unfortunately does not pay me. But what I will do instead is help them along with their sponsorship. So, guys, you have it. Your answer right here, 80,000 hours in your career. That's a long time. They're going to help you with this stuff. They're going to help you find a job. They're going to help you learn about jobs, researching stuff, keywords. You're going to find out things like how many lives does the doctor save? That's only part one. There's multiple parts to that series, guys. You're going to find out how many people doctors save in real time. They're going to be like, yo, a doctor just saved a kid down the street. Add it to the list. And you're probably going to get some type of discount through Kurzgesagt, but you know what you have to do. You can't I don't have one of those subscriptions or links that will immediately give you the discount, but I do have a link to Kurzgesagt. It's down below. You can go to him. They'll help you. They'll make sure that you get the right link that you're looking for. It's in their bio. They'll go to this website, do the / do Kurzgesagt, and then you get the savings. It's fun. It's really cool. So yeah, guys, great sponsoring by myself. How incredible am I, for real? Shout outs to me. What else are they gonna say here? Nothing. Guys, that was a great video. It was more of a like philosophical exercise, like mentally, like how do you feel about living in like a dream or simulation or any other thing that you like to think. The turtle, living in a turtle's dream, that's another one. This is just living in the universe's dream, so they just took the turtle out of it. I feel like they should have brought up the turtle, guys. Now I'm actually starting to feel away. Why didn't they bring up the turtle? They could have drawn a turtle. It would have looked really cool. Why didn't they do it? Is this some type of turtle conspiracy that they have here? They possibly are anti-turtle, but we shall find out in later videos. Yeah, I don't know. Simulation theory, all those things, they're kind of the same for me, where I feel like, yeah, they could be real, but even if they are, like, does it matter? It's like the whole, like, it's like similar to religion, and I'm not going to say it's like the exact same, but it's on a similar note. When people, like, you don't have to be for it or against it. Just know, being like, I'm not going to be the person that like gets upset when somebody tells me they don't believe in God or anything. I may be like, oh, but I do, and there's all this, look at the universe and all this stuff, but I'm not about to try to convince you. That's exactly how I feel about this. Like, if you believe in it, that's cool. I'm not going to try to convince you that it's not real. I'm just, if it is or if it's not, you still got to go to work at the end of the day. So, like, for me, it's more like, does it matter? Because at this point, like, at least when it comes to religion, you're like, hey, maybe my soul is going to go to a place afterwards, or maybe I'm going to be reincarnated as something really cool, or maybe, I'm trying to aim for the Brava and I don't even want to be reincarnated. The moment I get reincarnated, I'm like, oh man, I failed. I was supposed to be, rebirthed and, been a part of one with the universe. But no, now I'm like back into Earth. Man, I want to be part of the universe so bad, But again, that maybe you're a brain that's floating up in space, and then a bunch of other brains. You know what? If you think you're a brain in space, comment below. And honestly, I feel like you should just stare in one direction, just like stare in that one direction until you start to see the universe. It's probably going to happen if you are really a brain floating in space, you're gonna like look out for a little bit, concentrate really hard. You're gonna start to see some stars. It's either gonna be you actually realizing your brain in the universe, or you're probably passing out. So make sure you breathe. Make sure to breathe, guys. So yes, with that random rant there and randomness out of the way, guys, remember, like, comment, subscribe, not only to me but to Curtis Art. They're a great channel. You know, if you've made it this far into this random rant, then guys, subscribe, like it, comment on it. It's weird that you made it this far and aren't doing those things. So do those things. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. If you subscribe, you're an angel. And as always, bye.